Hello, my name is Gary Wainwright. I'm the General Manager of Sales at Datacom in the West Australian branch. The presentation that I'm giving today is around the Internet of Things. So one of the reasons the Internet of Things is so crucial to Datacom in the future is it's going to be the way of connecting a lot of appliances and devices together with our business. And it will open up a lot of opportunities for Datacom to actually get deeper into some of our clients. So this is an insight that I've put together of a couple of slides and how the Internet of Things, what the Internet of Things is about, and how we as Datacom will drive some of the new solutions in the Internet of Things. So what is the Internet of Things? The Internet of Things is a scenario where objects, whether they be animals, people, or devices, actually have a unique identifier and have the ability to pass over some of the data that they are capturing back into a back-end systems that allows businesses to drive value from the data they collected. So the Internet of Things has really evolved quite dramatically over the past couple of years with the convenience of wireless around the globe and the interconnectivity of a lot of devices with the internet. So the Internet of Things is really seen as a four-pronged approach where it's connecting the people in the various ways. It's about connecting the processes that these people are using, are the right people at the right time, the data that we're collecting, so collecting the data that is useful throughout the business, and being able to make decisions based on that data that we're connecting. And of course, the lastly is the physical devices that are connected to the Internet of Things and that allow us to make the decisions that we need to. So how many things are connected currently? So we are probably looking at the region of around 10 million devices, 10 billion devices are currently connected. That is due to skyrocket over the next couple of years to around the 35 billion mark. So that will be 35 billion devices all directly connected to the internet and providing their information back to people who need that information. As you see, the Internet of Things is the largest connectivity, but also there is a large things around the wearables that we have for fitness in our devices, connected cars, which is a large one at the moment, our tablets and our smartphones, and pretty much the personal devices. It only makes up a very small component of that. So the technology for the Internet of Things has really grown up over the past 20 years. It started off very slowly, backing a store back in the UK when somebody actually wanted to keep track of their stock and was one of the very first people to start off with RFID tags. So they wanted to control their stock and have an understanding where their stock sat within their warehouse. Hence, when the RFID tags were first invented, that's when they came into fruition. Since then, we've moved along to include security, healthcare, and we've then added people and locations into that. So obviously with smart devices that can take GPS coordinates, etc., and look at some of the information around those. And finally, it's going to be really a physical connected World Wide Web. So I've done a little bit of a SWOT analysis on what the Internet of Things really means for various businesses. People do see its strengths. People see its potential to be able to drive new business. The people are investing large amounts of money into it. And when we talk large amount of money, we're talking billions of dollars is being invested in that. Venture capitalists, IBM have just bet $3 million or $3 billion on the Internet of Things. And I saw only yesterday that they've actually got a worldwide team of 2,500 employees working purely on the Internet of Things. One of the largest sectors that the Internet of Things is going to take over is our healthcare and the way we treat patients and people around the globe. Some of the weaknesses of the device things is devices not talking to each other, differing protocols, so with each company having a different protocol. An example I give is the electricity supply. Whilst electricity is same throughout the world, it's different voltages, different plug tops and everything else. So that just gives you an example of how it can be a similar thing but with subtle differences. So what are the opportunities for businesses? Well, the opportunities probably sit around the efficiency gains that these businesses can make, the changes to their business models, so that the way they interact, how they connect their devices around the different parts of the globe. It will give them different revenue streams to their businesses. So businesses will be able to use some of the data for real left field ideas to be able to drive further revenue. And the RTO is real-time investment. So these guys will be able to make real-time investments in their businesses based on the data that they're collecting. Some of the threats that the people see is threats to the security of all of this information flying around on the World Wide Web. The inability for business systems to actually keep up with the pace that they need to in order to maintain the connectivity of these devices and the storage of those data. Any regulatory changes that may come about because of this. And obviously some competition from new rivals that they would never previously have noticed from. So why must CIOs think about the Internet of Things? Well, they must really, it's too big to ignore these devices. It's around the improvement in productivity they can gain. They can reduce wastage around their businesses. They can optimize their activity. It can provide them a greater level of client connectivity, and it provides them the ability to go to market faster for some of their new solutions. There are currently around 6 different types of applications that are emerging into two sort of broad categories around the Internet of Things. One around information and analysis, and the other around automation and control. And that's just some information around those different types of categories and applications that are currently in the marketplace. So the IoT strategy probably falls into 3 models. The enablers, who are the technology companies like Cisco, Google, IBM, etc., who actually have the underlying building blocks of the Internet of Things, which includes storage and cloud providers. It has engagers, who are the ones that actually design the services that can then be taken to their clients. These are the guys that really offer the direct connection between the Internet of Things and what the clients are looking for. And the final people are the enhancers, who are the ones that take the data and are able to analyze that data and be able to drive pure value from that data and what that data actually means. Datacom, as a business, could probably sit across all 3 of those areas. I understand that we've got the cloud technology that we can provide storage to our clients. We can work with our clients to drive direct correlation between the information that they're connecting and how they take that back to their customers. And we can also provide the value around proposition around how they take that data and how they drive insights from the Internet of Things. So what I wanted to demonstrate here is some of the industries that are currently using the Internet of Things and the ones that are some of the benefits they are seeing and some of the opportunities that Datacom could play in with these businesses. So starting off on a very simple one, fleet tracking. So obviously there are an awful lot of vehicles on the roads at the moment delivering items everywhere. With the Internet of Things, it allows for improved rostering of drivers. It allows them to actually change some of the routes based on traffic conditions or weather conditions. It can maintain improved maintenance schedules, so it can look at the truck itself, and with using sensors on the truck, it can actually alert the maintenance team that there's a failure about to occur within a truck. So that means less downtime for trucks, improved scheduling of and maintenance of those vehicles so that they can be kept on the road longer. The traffic infringements is a very strange one. It's around what they're currently doing is they are actually monitoring the way that drivers drive their trucks. So if Fred, for argument's sake, is always a heavy-footed driver and always exceeding the speed limits, that will actually alert back to the fleet company itself, and they can have a word with Fred about the amount of time he's actually spending putting extra pressure within the vehicle. And also it allows them to pick out drivers that may be constantly breaking laws and having fines. And obviously around the fleet trucking, the client satisfaction is a lot better. So we all have getting home now only to find a card in the post to say that we've missed the delivery. With these new Internet of Things tracking, they will find it a lot easier to be able to tell you exactly the time that that truck is due at your house. Some of the main two companies that are really leading the way in this is Toll and UPS. But that's not to say that there is a wealth of other companies currently out there that are beginning to use the Internet of Things and they're just a lot of WA-based companies. So in the oil and gas is a huge opportunity for intelligence around their maintenance of devices. So whether it be pipelines, whether it be mechanical equipment, whether it's the effectiveness